On a warm Friday evening in August 2025, 23-year-old Megan Newborough left her family home in Nuneaton, heading to meet someone she believed she could trust. Within 40 minutes of arriving at his house, she would be dead, strangled, brutally attacked by the very person she had tried to help. This is the story of a young woman whose kindness became her undoing, and of a calculated killer who tried to hide his crime behind a web of lies. Before we dive deeper into this tragedy, I want to pause and ask you something. When you hear stories like Megan's, what goes through your mind? Do you think about the warning signs we all miss? The people we trust too easily? Please, as you listen, take a moment in the comments to share your thoughts, your advice for anyone who might see themselves in Megan's story. Your voice could help someone recognize danger before it's too late. Megan was just days away from her 24th birthday. She had recently been approved for her first home and was preparing to move in with Frank, her beloved dog. Those who knew her described a woman with an infectious smile, someone who saw the best in everyone and never judged. She worked in human resources at Ibstock Brick, a manufacturing company in Leicestershire, where she'd built a reputation as someone who genuinely cared about her colleagues. It was at this workplace that Megan crossed paths with Ross McCullum, a 30-year-old laboratory assistant who lived with his parents in the nearby town of Colville. McCullum had been diagnosed with ADHD and struggled with depression and self-esteem issues. Over the summer of 2021, the two began what appeared to be a romantic relationship, exchanging thousands of messages. But beneath the surface of their connection, something darker was brewing. McCullum's messages grew increasingly sexual and controlling, revealing disturbing fantasies about domination. Megan, compassionate and understanding by nature, had become a confidant for McCullum, listening as he shared vulnerabilities and past traumas. She believed she was helping someone in need. She had no way of knowing that her empathy would lead her into the hands of a killer.
Having investigated this from the offset, that Ross enjoyed killing. I genuinely think that it excited him, and I genuinely believe that he had the potential.
The evening of August 6th started like any other for the Newborough family. Megan told her mother, Elaine, that she was heading out to meet someone for a walk. She hadn't dressed up particularly, or put on makeup that suggested she felt comfortable with whoever she was meeting. Her father, Anthony, expected her back within a couple of hours. Megan's car, a white Citroën C3, was captured on automatic number plate recognition cameras, leaving her neighborhood at 7:30. She was heading north toward Colville, a 40-minute drive to the home Ross McCullum shared with his parents on Windsor Close. His parents were out for the evening, leaving the house empty. What happened next would be pieced together through forensic evidence, McCullum's own admissions, and the chilling digital trail he left behind. According to prosecutors, within 30 to 40 minutes of Megan arriving at the house shortly after 8 o'clock, she was dead. McCullum later claimed that during an intimate encounter, something triggered him, he said. Megan's gesture of pulling him closer and saying, "Come here," brought back memories of childhood abuse. He alleged this sent him into what he called a blind rage, causing him to strangle Megan with his bare hands. But what came next revealed the calculated nature of his actions. After Megan had stopped breathing, McCullum didn't call for help. He didn't show remorse or panic in the way an innocent person experiencing a genuine loss of control might. Instead, he walked calmly into the kitchen, selected a carving knife, and returned to cut Megan's throat. Not once, but 14 times. He later told police this was to make sure she was dead. The house told its own story. Police would later find signs of a violent struggle in the living room, items knocked about, a suspicious wet stain that McCullum had attempted to clean. Dark smears on the skirting boards in the hallway suggested something or someone had been dragged toward the door. McCullum then began an elaborate cover-up. Despite having no driver's license, he loaded Megan's body into her own car. At 9:04 that evening, as he drove through the Leicestershire countryside, He threw her phone out the window into thick undergrowth near the village of Whitwick. But he made a critical mistake. He never switched it off. He continued driving to a remote stretch of Charlie Road near Woodhouse Eaves, close to Beacon Hill Country Park. There, he lifted Megan's partially clothed body over a 4-foot stone wall and left her hidden in a tangle of bracken and brambles. She would remain there, cold and alone, while McCullum methodically covered his tracks. Megan Newborough entered the world on the hottest day of August 1997, the middle child between her older sister Claire and younger brother John. Growing up in the close-knit community of New Neaton in Warwickshire, Megan developed two great passions early in life: dancing and animals. From the age of 2, she attended local dance classes, and when she wasn't learning choreography, she'd be dancing around her bedroom or teaching moves to her friends. Her love for animals meant the Newborough home always had pets, hamsters, rabbits, and eventually dogs. Though somewhat shy as a child, Megan possessed a warmth that drew people to her. She surrounded herself with the same group of friends from preschool through to adulthood, a testament to her loyal and caring nature. Megan's defining quality, according to those who knew her best, was her ability to see good in everyone. She never judged people. Instead, she listened, supported, and tried to help. Her father would later reflect that Megan saw the best in others, which is precisely how she became involved with the man who would take her life. She thought she could help him. This compassion, this beautiful human trait that made Megan so beloved, would become the very thing that placed her in danger. When Ross McCullum shared his struggles and vulnerabilities, Megan didn't turn away. She listened. She comforted. She became someone he could confide in. She gave him hugs and never made him feel judged. But trust, once given, can be impossible to take back. By Saturday afternoon, when Megan hadn't returned home and all calls went unanswered, her family's concern escalated to genuine fear. At noon, they reported her missing to Warwickshire Police. They explained that the last they knew, Megan had gone to meet Ross McCullum, a colleague from work. Police moved quickly.
Hi, is that Ross?
Hi, it is Ross, yeah.
Hi Ross, my name's Mia, I'm a police officer with Warwickshire Police. Hello. We've just come to your mum and dad's house. We're just looking for Megan, she's been reported missing. Have you seen her at all?
She came on Friday. I've been trying to call her loads.
Have you?
She came on Friday for about an hour.
Yeah.
Then she left about 9ish.
Okay.
I went to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And then she said she could give me a call or a text when she got home. She never did.
She never did? Okay. Did she say anything of where she might be going or where she might be?
All she said was she was going to go to... She's like going to McDonald's on my own to get like a vanilla milkshake.
Yeah.
That's it.
And she didn't say where she'd be going today, all she said is that she'd meet you?
Well, no, she said she couldn't stop mine. She was going to stop last night around mine, and she said she couldn't.
What? How come she didn't stop? Just being nosy.
Sorry?
Bear with me 1 second, sorry, my sergeant's just ringing.
McCullum's tone was calm, almost casual. He explained that Megan had come over around 8 o'clock Friday night, stayed for about an hour, then left around 9. He said they'd planned to get McDonald's, but she'd left before they could. He claimed he'd been sending her messages ever since good morning texts, expressions of concern, even voicemails professing his worry and affection.
Hello, babe, it's Ross. I'm just worried about you. If you haven't rang back or, text me or anything. No, it's probably nothing. Probably phone's dead or he fell asleep. But, yeah, I'm just worried, that's all. I had a fun time earlier. Yeah, anyway. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you.
But while McCullum spun this story, officers were discovering something disturbing at his parents' house. The living room showed signs of disorder. Items were displaced. There was a fresh, wet stain on the floor that McCullum's parents said was spilled coffee, but police suspected otherwise. Most telling were the dark smears on the skirting boards, along the hallway smears that looked like blood. This was no longer a simple missing person case. This was a potential crime scene. Ross McCullum was tracked down and arrested on suspicion of kidnapping at 11:35 Saturday morning, less than 28 hours after Megan had last been seen. The arrest, captured on body camera, revealed something chilling. When officers cuffed him and asked where Megan was, McCullum's response was quiet, almost emotionless.
The disappearance of Megan Newborough, and as a result I'm arresting you on suspicion of kidnap. So you do not have to say anything. You may have a defence. You don't want to mention one question, something which you may later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. So I'm just going to put some handcuffs on you, alright? You can. I'll put these on first. In relation to Megan, can you tell us where she is?
She's on Charlie Road.
Charlie Road? Whereabouts? In the lay-by? Okay.
He's going to call me this tomorrow morning.
Is she alive? No? Okay. Right, do you want to come with us?
After a long pause, he whispered the location. Woodhouse Eaves, off Charlie Road, in the lay-by. Police Constable Thomas Wright, a dog handler with Warwickshire Police, was dispatched to the location just after midnight. Officers searched the dark country lane lined with ancient stone walls and thick vegetation. About 100 yards from their vehicles, they noticed trampled grass between the road and a 4-foot wall. When Wright shined his flashlight over the wall into the dense bracken and brambles, he saw black fabric. He found Megan's body, partially clothed and hidden beneath the overgrown foliage. She had been there for hours, in the cold and darkness. The post-mortem would reveal 14 wounds to her neck. Ross McCullum's arrest was upgraded to murder. As investigators began piecing together the timeline of that Friday night, a picture emerged of just how calculated and methodical Ross McCullum had been. His phone revealed a digital trail that exposed both his actions and his mindset. After leaving his house with Megan's body in her car at approximately 8:45, McCullum drove a route that created an unusual pattern across the Leicestershire countryside. He first drove to Hermitage Road near Whitwick, where he threw Megan's phone into the undergrowth at 9:04. He then continued to Charlie Road, where he disposed of her body. His next stop was Loughborough College, where CCTV cameras captured him methodically disposing of evidence. The footage is haunting. McCullum can be seen pulling into the college fitness centre car park at 9:51. He spent several minutes carefully placing blood-stained clothing, sheets he'd used to clean up, Megan's glasses which had been angrily bent, as if crushed in someone's fist, and other items around and under bins. He even changed his own clothes in the open, caught clearly on camera, replacing his bloodied garments with fresh ones he'd grabbed from home. He abandoned Megan's car there and called a taxi to take him home, arriving around 10:45. The taxi driver would later tell police that McCullum had asked to be dropped some distance from his house, another attempt at misdirection. Then his Google searches began. At 11:27, he searched, "How to tell a girl you love her." Over the next several hours, he looked up information about serial killers Levi Belfield, a notorious rapist and murderer, Ian Huntley, who killed 2 young girls in Soham, and Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper. He researched what different categories of prison were like, and who cuts your hair in prison. At 6:35 the next morning, he was back on his phone, continuing his searches about serial killers. Then, disturbingly, he spent 16 minutes browsing pornography featuring domination themes. Immediately afterward, he sent Megan another message. "Morning, baby." He continued this charade throughout Saturday, sending increasingly concerned messages to Megan's phone. "Babe, I'm getting worried you didn't message or call me last night or today. Please respond because I'm getting really worried about you." When the case went to trial at Leicester Crown Court in November 2022, McCullum admitted to manslaughter, but denied murder. His defense rested on claiming loss of control due to post-traumatic stress disorder. He alleged he'd been sexually abused as a child by older children, including, shockingly, by Stephen Beedman, a man who had been convicted of raping and murdering 15-year-old Kaylee Haywood in 2015. Beedman had died in prison years before McCullum made this claim, conveniently unable to confirm or deny it. McCullum testified that when Megan pulled him closer during their encounter, it triggered flashbacks that sent him into an uncontrollable rage. He had a psychiatrist testify that his symptoms were consistent with PTSD and that the strangulation could have occurred during an episode. But the prosecution systematically dismantled this defense. They presented the evidence of his methodical cover-up.
Having investigated this from the offset, that Ross enjoyed killing Megan. I genuinely think that it excited him, and I genuinely believe that he had the potential to kill again. From his actions afterwards, they certainly didn't show signs of any remorse whatsoever.
Perhaps most damning were statements from a prison guard and inmates. While on remand awaiting trial, McCullum had been overheard joking that, "If I had gone a bit further, I'd have taken her head off." He'd told a cellmate he planned to use his mental health as a tool at trial. He'd even laughed while telling another inmate, "If you carry on like this, you'll end up like Megan." The judge ruled that McCullum's loss of control defense should not even be considered by the jury. The evidence was overwhelming. On December 12, 2022, after a 6-week trial, the jury took less than 90 minutes to find Ross McCullum guilty of murder. 4 days later, on December 16th, Ross McCullum stood in Leicester Crown Court to receive his sentence. Megan's devastated family sat in the courtroom, preparing to deliver victim impact statements that laid bare the destruction one man's violence had caused. Claire, Megan's older sister, struggled through tears as she spoke about her beloved sibling. She described Megan's infectious smile, her warmth, the way she made everyone around her feel valued. She talked about how Megan hated being cold, a detail that haunted Claire as she imagined her sister's final hours lying in that cold, dark countryside. "We're a close family of which Megan was the glue that held us together," Claire said. "Our lives have been torn apart through this loss. The trial has been nothing short of exhausting. The defendant is a very dangerous person. The brutalization of my sister's body is something we will never be able to come to terms with." Judge Philip Head sentenced Ross McCullum to life imprisonment, with a minimum term of 23 years before he could even be considered for parole. With time served, he would be eligible to apply for release after roughly 22.5 years. The sentence sparked debate. Many felt it was far too lenient for such a calculated, brutal murder. The Crown Prosecution Service even referred the sentence to the Court of Appeal as unduly lenient, though 3 justices ultimately upheld it, stating the judge had made no error. In November 2021, just 3 months after her death, 50 family members and friends gathered for a park run in support of the White Ribbon charity, which works to end violence against women and girls. They raised over £3,000 and ran a cumulative marathon distance, fulfilling one of Megan's dreams from a bucket list she'd made as a child. In July 2023, the Newborough family launched the Megan Newborough Foundation. Ross McCullum has never provided a full explanation for why he killed Megan. The prosecution's theory centered on humiliation and rage, stemming from his erectile dysfunction and inability to perform sexually, possibly triggered when Megan came to his home that night. But the deeper psychological truth, what truly drove him to strangle someone who had shown him nothing but kindness and support, remains something he's never adequately explained. What we do know is this. Megan Newborough was a young woman whose life had barely begun. She had dreams of her first home, her career, her future with the people and animals she loved. She possessed a rare quality in this world, genuine compassion and the ability to see good in everyone. That compassion led her to try to help someone she believed was struggling. She listened without judgment. She offered support. She trusted. And that trust cost her everything.